Great, thank you.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for joining. As Anne mentioned, I'm Teresa Alvarez, the CEO and president of the Austin EDC. Excited to have so many people on the call this morning for this conversation, led by the Austin EDC and the Urban Renewal Board. I want to thank Chair Escobar for joining us, who will be speaking to you shortly. So I'm here to introduce the Austin EDC. We are a local government corporation and a 501c3 nonprofit. We were created by the city council. We are a 2-year-old organization, and our real estate team is leading the RFP process on behalf of the Urban Renewal Board and the city of Austin. So our real estate team that you have with us today is Ann Haynes and Jose Lopez, that you'll be hearing from. And our board is made up, we have a 20-person board, 21 with myself, but I'm a non-voting member, but we have representatives from Urban Land Institute, the Real Estate Council of Austin, several of our chambers, workforce development, Arts Commission, Music Commission, and others, ACC, University of Texas. So we have a well-rounded board of local leaders guiding this process. We also have a real estate committee that meets on a monthly basis. And in addition, we have a partnership working group with the Urban Renewal Board, and that's made up of 2 urban renewal commissioners, 2 of our board members, myself, Ann, and Jose, that serve on that partnership working group. So this has been a long time coming. I want to recognize the history of East 11th. I personally have been in and around East 11 for the past 30 years. My background, I do have a real estate finance background. I made several small business loans in East Austin. I helped open the Wells Fargo that's right there at the corner of Block 16. That's part of the city building. That was one of the anchor tenants there. And have also performed as a dancer at the Victory Grill. I have a long history on East 11, so couldn't be more excited that these projects are moving forward. I do want to recognize that these 2 blocks are in the heart of the city's African American cultural district, and so want to recognize that history, and also recognize that community engagement has been happening for a long time, and the community has been asking for a long list of community benefits for these blocks. And so just want to take a moment to recognize that. Over the past 1.5 years, we have tried to take all of that past community engagement and what those desires of the community are, in addition to taking on new. We know that the neighborhood has changed quite a bit over the past 10 years. So this is I would say, a complicated project with a lot of history, but very exciting to be moving forward. And so with that, I want to turn this over to Chair Escobar, who leads the Urban Renewal Agency.
Thank you, Teresa, and good morning, everyone. We're really happy that you all were able to join us today. My name is Manuel Escobar, and I'm the chair of the Urban Renewal Board. And the Urban Renewal Board is the board for the Urban Renewal Agency. And as some of you may know, urban renewal agencies steward development in specified areas that have been created by municipalities. There have been lots of urban renewal agencies across the United States. I won't get into the history of those. But there's still one urban renewal plan area in the city of Austin. It covers small portions of East 11th and 12th Streets, just east of I-35, that you can see on the right-hand side of the screen here. So I've been involved with the Urban Renewal Board since 2018, and the 3 major things that the city asked us to do as soon after I joined the board were to update the land use documents relating to the Urban Renewal Plan. So that was the Urban Renewal Plan and the Neighborhood Combining Conservation District documents for these 2 areas. And then also to assist the city in figuring out what to do with blocks 16 and 18. And so the release of the RFP is very exciting. It represents the culmination of years of work by the Urban Renewal Board, the AEDC, and as you'll see on the next slide, decades of community input. And more than anything else, we're just excited to see the projects, the creativity that the development community can bring to help us deliver on everyone's hard work and all of the things that that this project hopefully is going to bring to this community. So let's go through the timeline here. So the NCCDs for these 2 areas were formed back in 1992, and then the Urban Renewal Plan was formed in 1999, and urban renewal plans have to be reconsidered and renewed. And so the Urban Renewal Plan for this area was last renewed in 2018. There was also a master plan done in 1999. There's been engagement that, again, has been done multiple times over the decades, including a major kind of engagement effort in the early 2010s. And then after we engaged AEDC to assist with this project, we embarked on another kind of very, very expansive project of community engagement. So there were surveys that were done. We had in-person kind of meet and greets and events to try to take in additional community feedback and figure out exactly what the community wanted to see from these two projects. And so in the last year and a half or so, we've been going through development studies, more community engagement, and finally with the culmination of the release of this RFP. And so again, we're excited that you all are here, and we're looking very, very forward to seeing the types of projects that might be able to be put on these two blocks. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Ann.
Thank you. And again, my name is Ann Haynes. I'm the Chief Transactions Officer for the Austin EDC. And this was one of our seminal projects that we were able to get started with as an early startup. I think I'm going to make sure that everyone's muted just for the background, but not myself. Okay. So I'm going to turn it over to Jose Lopez to walk through the structure and the key elements that are going to be included in the RFP. Jose could basically align a lot of the things on these slides, specifically to the sections within the RFP, but please note that this is a summary presentation and that everybody really should be reading. Yes, it's a very detailed RFP, but as you heard, there's a long history to these projects or to these sites. And we do look forward to receiving questions from you all through the chat or directly to Jose at austinedc.org at any time. We will be doing an early round of Q&A and posting that next week so everyone can be receiving the information. Jose, I can't see you in the boxes, but you're here somewhere.
That's right, Ann. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Jose Lopez. I'm representing the Austin Economic Development Corporation, AEDC. I just recently joined the AEDC as a project manager and real estate analyst. And now, as Ann mentioned, I'll be serving as point of contact for the RFP. And today I'll be going over the details of the RFP. But again, we do urge you to please visit the document itself to get a full description. As this again was just going to be a summarized presentation. But right here on this slide, we're looking at the overall structure of our RFP. It's going to consist of really two phases. Phase one did kick off with the release of our RFP back in August, actually on August 22nd, a couple of weeks back. And this phase really focuses on the vision and the design approach. So focusing on project concepts that kind of deliver the positive and desired community impacts that demonstrate professional teams and high-level financial capacity with the relevant experience of that team. While the second phase will involve a more detailed and focused approach on the financials of the proposals, and it'll also provide an opportunity for tenant partnerships, which may include some options for institutional cultural partners who have expressed interest in the project through AEDC's outreach, as well as the Urban Renewal Board's outreach through these past 20 years. So partnering sessions will be scheduled throughout both phases, as you can see on some of those points in this slide. But to get a more detailed timeline, sorry, 1 second, having some technical difficulties here. But the proposal and evaluation of phase two is going to center around the responsiveness to the phase one feedback. So financial plan, feasibility, execution strategies, and the practicality of it, and the expected community impact. The proposals must have a detailed budget, transportation strategy, operations and marketing plan, and a community engagement strategy, and be inclusive to those business partners I mentioned. Here is our anticipated timeline. Today we are here at our pre-proposal meeting on September 6th. Again, we kicked off the RFP and the registration on our website. For those interested, are required to register if you're going to be submitting a proposal. But our next anticipated event will be September 19th. There'll be a site walk followed by a networking event, really giving an opportunity for proposers to meet one another and have potential partners with the goal of forming stronger teams to be considered in the RFP. We'll be sending out some details on the event, including an RSVP in the coming days. This will be to all of those, again, who have registered. So if you have folks in mind that you want to join as a partner in your team, please let them know, again, to register online if they're not here with us today. And we'll be going over that website here towards the end of our presentation. Also, in the next few days, we will be posting an addendum with any questions to date. I suspect that after today's meeting, you guys will have a number of questions, which again can be directed towards me at my email, which again will be posted here at the end and maybe in our chat function here. And as part of the addendum, we'll also be posting a list of those registered to those, again, giving an opportunity to those wishing to partner with other firms. And then in our calendar, the next big date after we've posted some Q&As. Again, it's not a hard set date for the October 9th. We will be posting as we receive a lot of these questions. But the phase 1 proposals will be due November 8th with a deadline of 4 p.m. Central Time. From there on begins the committee review. And that'll entail about a month-and-a-half process culminating in an invitation to phase 2 at the start of the new year. So I'm going to jump into the blocks themselves and kind of give a brief overview of their location and some of the features on this either block 16 and 18. So block 16 is located at the intersection of East 11th Street and Curve Street. It's currently a vacant lot. It's mainly being used by folks as a kind of unofficial parking lot for those of the construction around the area and just folks in the general business. It is adjacent to the African American Cultural Heritage Facility, and it's just under an acre. It has about a 10-foot delta in the slope from south to northwest, and it does not extend to the west behind the heritage facility. That's actually City of Austin property. So you'll see it delineated in that picture in the red dotted line is the actual block itself. Here, moving on to block 18, the site is located on the corner of 11th Street and Waller Street. It spans approximately 1 acre and is currently situated on what is Kenny Durham's backyard. That's an outdoor music venue that has been hosting blues events for about a decade. It currently also serves as a food truck park. And additionally, the historic Victory Grill is located on the site. But moving on to the parcel ownership and context, any development strategies proposed for this location must respect the ongoing operations of both Victory Grill and not hinder any future functioning of the business. The development team is also expected to suggest both current and potential temporary sites uses during the construction and pre-development of both phases of the project. These proposed uses should be seamlessly integrating the support of the existing surroundings, and the temporary site use may involve collaborative partnerships among those different users. But ultimately, we are expecting to include plans for the continuation of both Kenny Durham's backyard and support for the Victory Grill. And here, getting into the more nitty-gritty of the presentation, the anticipated financial transaction structure. This will be a limited negotiation agreement. So the listed proposer will sign an LNA for streamlined communications during phase 2. And we'll have an exclusive negotiation agreement and ground lease. So we are expecting it to begin as a ground lease. So draft ENA and ground lease will be provided to shortlisted proposers. and we'll note exceptions and terms in phase 2 submissions. Additional project transaction documents will be shared throughout the process. Again, we'll be in close communication with all those that are proposing. And then the final proposer selection, the evaluation committee recommends the final proposer to the urban renewal and is approved by city council and will be needed to be approved by city council. And then the final proposer enters an ENA for execution of the negotiation. The development agreement and ground lease. The development agreement outlines financial terms, design community engagement, zoning compliance, timelines, etc. The ground lease defines the lease hold terms for both block 16 and 18. The transaction fees, development teams will pay a transaction fee to AEDC upon financial closing, annual, and that will be detailed in the phase 2 portion of this RFP. As well as an annual asset management fee that covers contract management and potential future property management. Land ownership and value. URA currently owns the block 16 and 18 in fee simple. Developers are expected to hold, again, that ground lease. Fair market value for the ground lease required by Texas law and the appraisal for block 18, 16 and 18. And then we have our cultural venue integration. Again, the proposals must include plans for the cultural venues with minimum requirements for the space, location, all again are very detailed within the RFP and the document itself. For our project team requirements, we're going to want to see some alignment with what this very ambitious project is, as we've mentioned here. We'll want the principal in charge to have completed at least 3 similar projects and has the ability to make the legal commitments. A senior project manager, again, with 3 similar projects. And we preferably want them to reside in the area and have them committed full time to the project, as it'll be very important for this site and the community to have someone in the local area. An architect, a lead art designer with, again, 3 similar projects, which includes an urban planner and a design manager. Arts placemaking, which is someone with experience with the arts and culture and the creative development. Hopefully, again, someone in the local area that understands the arts in the Austin and most importantly in the East Austin context. And we'll want someone who will have a team with community engagement. Again, that has been a process that's been ongoing 20 years. So we expect that to continue on into the actual RFP. And then operations, we want someone with experience with mixed income projects and especially pathways to ownership. So more into what we want into the actual program of the RFP, again, detailed in the RFP itself. We want to maximize the affordable units. So at least 50% of the units at 60% of MFI and 80% MFI for the ownership of the units. And again, affordability throughout the lifetime and cycle of the project. And we want it to provide a majority public benefit, so aim for at least 75% of the program area for affordable housing, cultural venues, and affordable retail, as we've been talking throughout this process. Sustainable development, so we will prioritize proposals that have green design, construction, and infrastructure will be part of the grading criteria. And the minimum requirement for a cultural venue will be a 20,000 square foot, although we're happy to accommodate for larger spaces, which would be ideal. Again, just going into some of the more detailed nuances of the project, we want to secure, or the teams that are proposing will secure at least a 55-year ground lease and not to exceed a 75-year ground lease. We want teams that can demonstrate the ability to minimize city subsidies, so leveraging external sources of funding. Phase 1, again, we're not really too concerned with financials, but phase 2 will definitely be an opportunity again for proposing teams to connect with equity partnerships and really incorporate that into the second phase of the proposal. And we would like to see a top level plan generating revenue. We also have an attachment in the RFP, also found on that main website, that is an Excel worksheet where you can update those financial requirements. The teams will be responsible for handling the due diligence and permits, and procuring all of those, provide the capital and source, as well as the design and build of the project, funds of the site activation. So again, before and after, so we want to make sure that those neighbors around are not constrained by all the development that's going to be going on for the next coming years, and build infrastructure that will be needed for the site, payment of all fees, and provide that management fee that I spoke about earlier in the earlier slide for AEDC. And then moving on to the desired features as highlighted in the RFP. So affordable housing is going to be first and foremost of our highest priority, and you can find that in section V2 of the actual RFP. Cultural venues, again, with that minimum of the 20,000 square foot venue. We're also, this area we found and through our community engagement that it's really lacking any kind of affordable neighborhood businesses, as well as food-based like markets. So we would like to see some proposals that propose that food-based retail with like a small grocery store with those affordable pricing options, and commercial spaces for the businesses in the area. And then moving on to the priority, really to meet the council resolution, which is also found on our project website as additional documents, really meeting those programmatic elements for the district and the parcels themselves. We'd like to see pathways to ownership and equity, as mentioned in previous slide, building rental opportunities and affordable housing, such as shared equity cooperative ownerships, alternate business models like shared equity and co-ops as well. Public access to green space with event and community uses, family and student friendly housing, market and retention strategies, district management support. So security and maintenance and marketing for the district. Moving into the how the proposals will be evaluated. The project team is going to be a big portion of that. So again, that proven track record with similar projects, the expertise of the professionals on the team, affordable housing, top of mind again, with financing and development experience, and also collaborative team with prior experience would be ideal. Local Austin urban experience, and a commitment to the equitable development vision, and an emphasis on inclusion of underrepresented entities throughout the process. The development program will be required to have compliance with those program elements, alignment with design and character. So meeting the design character of the East 11th community, alignment with and operational alignment with the project concept, inclusion of high priority features, and then innovative affordability solutions again. The community impact, we do want a community focused approach, inclusion of underrepresented entities, support for local communities. The financial plan will be, again, high level at this point, so financial capacity for the project scale, access to capital and experience, a reasonable financing plan in alignment with financial requirements, and then our project execution and risk a detailed understanding of the major risks with effective tools to mitigate, and a plan for the entitlement approach. The selection process. So AEDC will engage with the evaluation committee in phase 1 and focus on identifying teams again with those appropriate and relevant experiences and professional teams. We will, in November and December, we'll have interviews with stakeholders as well as community engagement. So give a chance to the community as we go on with the RFP to provide input for those proposals. And the shortlisted teams will participate in interviews with the evaluation community, required to either do a short video presentation for community feedback, and prepare that project summary again found in the RFP. And then the submission requirements, again, very detailed here, so I'll just kind of give a high level overview. So it's a pretty generic, oh, sorry about that. Our pretty standard RFP kind of format. So a cover letter with about 2 pages with a summary, identifying the firms and the project team, the legal entity responsible for the transaction, and documents with AEDC, an executive summary, the project team, listing again the full names of the development team, design, and other firms involved. And then some of the other submission requirements will also include the development program. So includes the narrative of uses, square footage, parking site, plans, elevations, and program assumptions. Emphasizes the cultural venue, parking, site plan, building elevations, and financial program, the community impact. Again, we want to really emphasize that as an important part of this RFP. So discussing community engagement, equitable development commitment, and past partnership, and notes the relevance of, and then we'll again go into the relevance and partnerships in phase 2, and a high-level financial plan describing the financial approach, sources, and uses. And with that, that was kind of the more nitty-gritty of the RFP for phase 1. This again is a slide back from the beginning, just for those of you all who are joining us a little bit later. This is again the format of the RFP, a 2-phase process with the focus of phase 1 really on the team, the vision and approach, and phase 2 really getting into the financials and specifics, and also offering an opportunity to partner with potential tenants and future tenants of the spaces. And again, our anticipated timeline, the next upcoming event is September 19th. And that will be at the site at both block 16 and 18. We'll do a site walkthrough, followed by a networking event. Again, we will be providing the details of a time and where the networking event will be held, which will be in an adjacent parcel or an adjacent business to the block 16 or 18. And then with that, there also is a solicitation deposit for those teams wishing to propose. They must provide a solicitation deposit of $1,050, and it will be deposited in an escrow account managed by AEDC. This initial deposit will be returned to all proposers that are not selected to participate in phase 1. And we will also be sending out those details on where to send the checks to. It'll be by check, and those proposers requesting a waiver for the solicitation deposit fee can just get in contact with myself or Ann here on the real estate team with AEDC. And again, our last slide here just shows our project website, where you can find all the relevant documentation. All of our addendum will be posted, as well as the RFP itself. Remember, for the submission of the actual RFP, that will be sent out only to those who have registered, as well as the names of those who have registered to date will only be sent out to folks who have registered for the RFP itself. So with that, I am just going to jump into the website real quick to give a quick overview on how to navigate it. Can you all see that?
Not yet. It still shows the last slide. So I think you have to unshare and then share again with your website.
Yep, you can do that.
And actually with the this slide still shown, those folks that are listed on the page are consultants that helped us do some of the feasibility analysis prior to releasing the RFP, and was great to have a really comprehensive effort to look at all of the, how do we balance all of these really high level objectives to create a really seminal development in this district that we believe is market feasible, despite that there will be definitely creative financing to achieve all. So Jose, can you show your website? Because I also have it available if you need me to.
Yeah, I'm having a bit difficulty sharing it. Is it not popping up yet?
Not yet.
There we go. How about now?
Yeah, there you are.
Great. Yeah. So this is our project website. This massing was, as Anne mentioned, we had a partnership with Page, who did this development study, also found on this page. And this is just kind of a conceptual overview based on the requirements of the RFP, what they came up with. So it'll be here as in the reference material. But the RFP itself is found right here as a PDF, and just below that is that financial data table that will be required for those proposing. And then again, these drop down below is all the reference material for your review. And our background documents kind of show all the history of how this RFP and the history of the East 11th Street as well. And then our addendum will be posted in this updates and timeline. And again, our timeline may be amended just depending on the project requirements. And then to the right, as many of you here today have already registered, this will be the form for those of you who have not, required to be filled out if you are going to be considered for the RFP and also be attending any of the on-site events, as well as getting the list of those who have signed up so far to make those connections. And with that, that kind of concludes my portion of the RFP itself. Again, we will be posting some Q&As to the site itself in that addendum. I'm sure as many questions popped up today, but I'll kick it back over to Anne to conclude.
Great. Thank you all for attending today. This will be recorded and posted on the on this particular website. I'm sure there are a lot of clarifications and questions that may come up, and we will be responding to them as quickly as possible. The final Q&A addendum would be definitely posted on the 9th of October, which will be, I believe it's the 9th, which will be comprehensive, but we are going to be releasing a Q&A response to these early questions that we've received as soon as possible. All those who will be registered will be notified of that. And I believe that unless Chair Escobar or Teresa, if you have any final comments, we really thank you for your attendance today. Please feel free to put comments or questions in chat. Send them directly to Jose, and we will collect them.
Nothing further for me other than just to again say thank you to everyone, and we're looking forward to seeing what everybody has to propose.
Yep, same. Just and a special thanks to the Urban Renewal Commissioners who've spent years on this, the Austin Revitalization Authority, Harold McMillan, you know, all who've been on these blocks for years doing the work. So big thank you to all, and thank you for being here.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to end recording, but as soon as I end, we will be closing out the conference. So if you have any last questions, you want to put them in the chat, we're happy to keep it on for next 3 minutes or so. But very excited to see everyone here. Okay, I'm going to stop recording for those who are going to watch the video later. So